Great Lakes Prepping here. This video is really meant for my fellow Michiganders, but I think it can apply to anybody who lives in a state that is reopening or has recently reopened or is about to reopen. Today, our governor announced that she is actually going to reopen much of the state a week earlier than planned, which, as it turns out, was 2 weeks later than planned. So what that really means is starting today, the stay-at-home order is lifted. People are apparently allowed to go out into the world and do a lot of the stuff that they used to do. And it was also announced that starting next Monday, restaurants can reopen for dine-in customers, and some other things are reopening. It was mentioned that certain types of businesses in the higher risk zones or regions in the state, such as gyms and things like that, will still not be allowed to open. But the point is, a lot of the stuff that we have previously been unable to do, we will be able to do again. Places are going to be reopened. You can go to a restaurant and sit down and eat. That's good news for a lot of reasons. It's good for those businesses. It's good for people who want to get back out into the world. And so it means some good stuff. But what it doesn't mean is that COVID-19 is any less of a threat to your health than it was last week. We need to be really clear on this. Coronavirus is just as harmful and contagious and life-threatening as it was 2.5, 3 months ago when all of this first started. The only difference really is that hospitals are not overflowing in capacity to be able to help the people who get especially sick. Hospitals have more equipment, they have more capacity, and I guess we are over the curve. It doesn't mean that you're less likely to get the coronavirus. It doesn't mean you're less likely to get very sick from it and need hospital care. And it doesn't mean that you're at any lower risk for dying. From everything that we've learned and everything we've heard, it seems that a lot of it's luck of the draw. Some otherwise very healthy people get really sick and need to be put on ventilators. Some otherwise very healthy people have died. Yes, it's still more likely that if you're especially old or have certain pre-existing health conditions like heart problems, respiratory problems, diabetes, things like that, you are at much higher risk. But all of us are still at risk. Some of us, we've already had it, we didn't even realize it. Some of us got a little bit sick. Some of us haven't had it at all and won't get it at all. But I wanted to bring all of this up because once everybody goes back out into the world, which I know that we're all very eager and anxious and excited to do, you need to still conduct yourselves like an intelligent person. When you go to stores, it still really behooves everybody to socially distance, to wear the masks. I know a lot of you don't want to wear the mask. You reject it. You protest the very idea of it. It's become a politicized issue in this country, which is beyond bizarre to me. I've mentioned it before. I don't really have a lot of interest in politics. I don't love talking about politics, and I do my best to avoid talking about politics in my videos. It's just a waste of my time and energy. But whether or not you think that wearing a mask and this whole thing is a political issue or not, a conspiracy theory, a whole sham perpetrated by the Chinese or our own government, it doesn't disprove the science that people are getting sick and dying from it. So it's, of course, your own choice whether or not you want to take what precautions, the masks, the gloves, whatever. I'm going to continue wearing my mask when I go out in public. Sooner or later, I'll feel comfortable eating at restaurants, but I'm not sure that time is here yet. I'm a little more uneasy than maybe a lot of people. It's probably the kind of thing that contributes to me having the personality that makes me interested in things like prepping in the first place. I'm cautious. I'm overly careful. I'm prepared for things that many look at as a minor inconvenience or a minor threat. I like to look at things objectively and from all angles. And this still has a higher likelihood of making me sick or disrupting my life or ending my life than many of the other things that I do. So I'm still going to take all the precautions I have been for a while anyway. If we get a vaccine sooner or later, and it's proven, I'll sign up for the vaccine, and then at that time maybe I'll feel pretty at ease in my mind. Another thing to mention, kind of a side point to taking care to stay healthy and the precautions for keeping yourself from getting the virus or from spreading it around. It's more about common courtesy. Everybody's frustrated. Everybody's been cooped up. They've got a lot of pent up energy, a lot of feelings and emotions about everything. And you can already see it at some of the bigger stores. And that's people acting like real jerks. They're upset that they can't get the things they want, or things are taking longer than they'd like, or lines are longer. There's fewer employees or less experienced employees, and customers are acting like jerks. Listen, the people that are working through all of this, and the people that will be working as stuff starts to reopen more and more, they're doing the best they can. They don't owe you anything. You are not owed anything by the world. So when you go into a restaurant and things aren't going exactly as you liked them to go before all this happened, you need to just take a breath and calm down, and don't go around shouting at the poor server who's just trying to pay her rent or make sure she has enough money to pay for tuition once her college ever reopens. If they're out of the exact brand of avocado butter that you like or whatever nonsense you eat, you need to relax. They're not going to have everything. They're not going to be at full capacity. They've been struggling financially. They've been struggling with their own workforce. They're going to be super excited to be open again and have customers, and they'll do the best they can. But nothing is going to go right back to how it was. Everybody needs to relax and keep that in perspective. We can't understand the sort of pressure that a lot of these people are under, and as happy as we are to go back out into the world and eat at our favorite restaurants and stuff, this isn't recreation for them. This isn't just normal getting back to how things were for them. They're trying to keep their businesses alive, and they're trying to pay their bills. So don't act like a jerk to people. I know that the people who watch this channel are a pretty cool and collected bunch. But for anybody else that happens to come across this video, if I'm at a restaurant and I see you acting like a supreme jerk to the wait staff or anybody else that works there, I'm going to have a hard time staying polite at you. And if there's one thing that I hate, it's impoliteness. And if you make me get mad enough to break my own rule, I'll be even madder that you did so. And I think it'll be up to everybody to keep all of us, each other, in check. Make sure we're all acting like civilized people. This is going to be a challenge all in its own, something like we've never seen before. And I worry that everybody is going to act like children or crazy, cooped up, caged dogs. And as soon as you open that door, everybody's going to flood out and start acting like a fool. So again, everyone's doing the best they can. And that's what we need to do. We need to do the best we can. So stay safe. If you can stand to do so, keep up with all the precautions. Wear the mask, wear the gloves, use the hand sanitizer. socially distance. Don't go to these crazy packed pool parties like or whatever they've been showing on the news. That's just insanity still. And um, as I said, the coronavirus is no less harmful than it was 2 or 3 months ago. It's the same virus. We've got pretty much the same treatments for it, which is not much. And the only difference is that hospitals are a little more equipped to save your life if you're somebody whose life can be saved, and uh, we're just sick of it. And the more bored of a problem that I think modern people are, the less they care about it, and the more complacent they're willing to be about it. But the problem hasn't gone away. The only difference is that we're allowed to go back into the world a little more and spread it around a bit more. It's the only difference. So it's all about our own personal responsibility. So stay safe, use your head, use common sense, and for goodness sake, let's cut each other some slack. Be nice to the wait staff, be nice to the store employees, and be nice to each other. That's it. That's my soapbox rant for the day. I don't do a lot of these, but I see that we're on the verge of some possible silliness out there in the world. So that's all for now. Thanks for listening, and until next time, this is Great Lakes Prepping.